Yes, people, good night, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Let me welcome you to this another episode of the Saudi Chris Show. And of course, tonight is a Saturday night, and I'm sure that many persons would not have expected the Saudi Chris Show to be here tonight. But guess what? This is how it goes. When the news are coming, when the information are here, and I need to get them out to help out, yes, to allow everybody a piece of the pie as it relates to the burning information. But I mean, starting the show tonight, I was really excited from yesterday evening. But guess what? Based on what happened last night, I was a bit down because you can imagine the Jamaica under 20 team. See there? Problem suffered an embarrassing defeat at the hands of the United States. My God, I don't know how to talk about it. But if you have the information, if you want us to have a discussion around that, fine. I watch the highlights, people, and it was a disaster. It was really a disaster. But the truth of the matter, where do we go from here? I'm not sure if there's. I heard a lot of people talking about, what happened, what goes wrong, and then at the back end of it, people are asking who is to be blamed. Tonight, I'm not at the blame game. I'm not going to play any blame game tonight. The fact of the matter, we need to really look at it carefully, yes? Have our own views of how these things are. Analyze the situation, not just the game per se, but what would have led to that game. The preparation going into the game, the team selections, and I say the team selection, not just the players, people, but the coaching staff. The major disappointment for me in that game are the performance of the game from the young reggae boys. On leaving Jamaica, the technical director, Mr. Dunswell, a coach that I have respected, still respect, big coach. And he went on a tour as a technical director. I think Jerome Waite is the coach, Rudolph Aston is an assistant. But the interview that Coach RTD Dunswell would have said in his interview that they are well prepared, they are confident, they are optimistic, and so they're expecting to get at least a draw from coming out of that game. A matter of fact, he went on further to say, if we can get two draws away from home in Mexico, that would have been a plus. And I took a little thing about from that. What I have taken is that if he's thinking that his team is prepared and he's confident, the team is confident, why start on a draw? Yes? Why talking about a draw? So, in some way, people, I believe that was a message sent to the young reggae boys. They were not looking to win this game, but more to draw it. People, there's a saying that, but Japan for head, Japan shoulder. And you can take that in many different ways, Yes? Because this is the head, this is the shoulders. But that goes to say that if you aim high and you should slip, then you won't fall to the ground, but you have a few steps that you could hold on to. So right there and then, I think that was where the mistake went. But again, people, I want to say a special good night to you all. Please remember to like and share the content. And if you're watching and you have not yet subscribed to the Sardicast channel, please do so and ensure that you participate in the comments area. The topic for tonight, show people. And remember the last time I did a show, I said I'm going to come back to you the following night. Unfortunately, I was unable to come on here last night. But what I want to bring across tonight, information as it relates to the top three are the three persons who I believe are in the running. Yes, who will get this Jamaica Reggae Boys head coach. So I had a top three. And there's an information going around right across social media. especially in our football land. That's Coach Ole Ghana. I can't even pronounce his full name. So I don't want to sound it or pronounce it wrong. So let me leave it as Ole. The former Man United manager is the front runner. But I have gotten information now straight out of England people that the JFF is seeking to employ an English coach. Maybe you could categorize Ole as an English coach. Not based on nationality, but based on where he works. Yes? But there are other names. As a matter of fact, one other name, people, that I'm going to bring to you in a little while. And from the information I received, yes, Oli was a part of it. As a matter of fact, two international coaches, should I say international, or should I say coaches outside of Jamaica? Yes, put it that way. Because the other coach is a Jamaican, but he's coaching internationally. But the information that I gathered, people, the source should have gone on to say and categorizing the coaches that are heading. Now I'm going to leave you with this information for a minute for you to think about and listen to the information. The two top runners, a matter of fact, I was told that Miguel Coley is high up the running to get the job. So a top for that because a Jamaican coach, even though he's coaching overseas. The truth of the matter, internationally, going on that stage, I'm not really sure of Miguel's experience. Miguel's, what would I say now, the capacity to take, a team in the World Cup. Again, there's one way to find out. Only one way, I believe. Doesn't matter what experience we believe they have. Because you're going to find out that some of these persons we're talking about has never gone to the World Cup, has never coached at the World Cup. So as it relates to experience in or to the World Cup, none of the above that will be listed have that experience. So that does not, what would I say, take away from the qualification of Miguel Coley or one. But the other two person people, and as I said, you hear Oli. So the other, and I'm going to categorize Oli and this other coach, they're former coaches from Manchester United in England. Let me break it down. Oli has coached Manchester United a few years ago. This other coach has been an assistant coach of Manchester United some years ago. Now, before we get into the serious business, let me show you something, people. I don't want people to come out and say it's no. When we find them there, are you know the about? Because you know everything. Just so one them people. It seems like the JFF hierarchy who are in charge of recruiting these coaches, they're Manchester United fans. Red Devils. Is that so? But I don't feel away with people. I don't want to feel away because I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm a Liverpool man. I'm not doing that. But this scenario that I'm bringing across, if the two front runners, if you want to put it that way, were working with Manchester United, are they a former Manchester United employee? It seems like Michael Ricketts, Rodolph Speed, and his committee are well in tune as Manchester United fans. No blame me for that. It's serious. But that's the fun part. That's the fun part. And for those Manchester United fans who are watching and knows the history of the club, the source out of England would have said to me that this other coach outside of Ollie is the main coach. He is the number one contender to get the job. He is a former Manchester United assistant coach. Now let's go a little further. And I'm pulling you out now, because I know you know a lot, probably more than I am. I remember people hit the like button as soon as you come in. See? Make me see the lights are go up, man. Chop. Can't just sit and not do anything. You're not participating, you're not saying anything. Hit the like button. That's all it's free. So let's go now. Peter Mystic. Speed supports Arsenal. All right. So we cancel out that. Me pen. Let me get my pen and strike out that one day. I think I've heard it before, but all right. So speed support Arsenal. So Peter, who is it then? I wonder if my good friend might support Man United. Thank you for the likes, man. Keep it up. So therefore, based on recent history, people, I have not seen English coaches gaining or getting any success at football championship. As a matter of fact, I want somebody to help me tonight because I'm not so hot on history. I'm sometimes not, all right, put it this way. Me need a little more source. But as it relates to the coaches out of England, their teams have been woefully prepared. They have not performed, yes, to the standards that are expected of England. And not just that, the nature of players, people. You know, so England have some very good players. Yeah, man. England have some very good players. And if that is the case, the team should have performed. When you look at the Euro the other day, people, England made it to the finals and could have won the Euro. But they were poor. Team selection were poor. I hear a lot of people talking about Foden and the man we can't win the trophy. Big striker, world class ball of that. But when you look at the team selection, people, how could a team like England, yes, with so many players around the globe, more so in the EPL, and the English team couldn't find two left-footed defender, yes, to go to the Euros. In more than one games, I've seen coach use a right-footed right wing back to play left back. And look at the sad story, people. Even though in the finals, I don't think he had a bad game. But Luke Shaw have not played football for months, and he was the number one left back. A matter of fact, when the tournament started, he couldn't have made the team because he was unfit. And you're saying to me, the coach couldn't find a left back for carry? No, sir. Yes, Rankin, you're right. The best English coach right now is Eddie Howe. But what is the level of success as it relates to winning? Because that's all we wanted. Mm-hmm. Best English coach is Eddie Howe. And I've seen them tip Eddie Howe to take over as head coach as well of England. But let's see what happened there. Early business about England team, right? So it's a serious thing when it comes to the English coaches. Them head sick. Them head chip. You're saying to me it's best to carry an unfit left back and fit in some little man round a left back. Hmm? Come on, man. Come on. England coaches need to step up. But anyway, people, if you believe or if you want to hear who the next coach is, just give me some more likes. If you give me 3 more likes now, me drop your news. Because I know I don't see no YouTube channel, I don't see no podcast, I don't see no vlogger bring this name out. And maybe when me drop this name here, some people are going to surprise. When me drop this name here, maybe the JFF nobody bring him on because they want the whole side of Chris hear that. But remember, in an interview I've said, Rudolph Speed, I've said, it's a surprise package. And why is it surprise to me, people? I don't know where this coach have been coaching. I have a little information, yes, but let me see if it will tell me anything based on what I really want to hear. Let me check it. Right? Hey. Oh boy, all are the people, all are the people. Let me get it right before we say anything. Ah, da 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 da. That's also serious information. I think I joke. All right. Yes. Let me see what is in. All right. No. Some time ago, you see me, I take time break it down so no can jump in. Some time ago, this man has been, he has coached England for a short stint. Mhm. Yes. He has coached the English or the England senior team for 1 year. 1 year. And he was dismissed after 1 year. But he has coached other clubs. He has coached in the Premier League. Was it the Premier League then? He has coached Premier League teams. He has coached in the Dutch league. He has also coached in the German Bundesliga. But none of those clubs were successful. No, not Big Sam this time, my boss. All right, Bala. Again, remember the link that the chat, you can jump in. Not Big Sam. But the only championship or the only victory as a coach he has tasted. I was told that he won the English Cup or the English League Cup. That was way back in maybe some 20 years ago. So it's not even a young coach I'm talking about. He's not really old based on some coaches here, you know. All right, not really old, but a man up in his 60s. Him soon retire. Hey, up. Me just go and put on a picture for you to can see. All right. So when we put it up, this one put it up. Not try work on it. Hold on. Need to get up the studio. Studio. That's what we want to do. All right. But this coach, I remember now, you know, people, this is information we're getting out of England. Tell them straight. Out of England it come from. So when I did the last show and I said that many available coaches, yes, I definitely did not put up that particular name. Leave up the chat or blessings, man. I didn't put up any particular name. Oh, man, because the reason why, When I get the information, I wanted to do a little research around the coach. No, people, are you ready for the link, sir? Let me see me can bring it up. I'm ready to just shut it out. I'm going to share it. Alright. Someone share, someone share, someone share. Hold on, I'm going to I'm ready to share it. But the number one coach, who the man them say, get it. Because I remember when I hear some news about Dwight York, and it was an English media who broke that news. This news that I got did not break by any media person. Is this speculation? Peter Mystic. Because I first been see you for the show and this name, yeah. I don't know if you're always there still, but bless yourself. Again to you, it's not something that I got from the JFF or I got from the individual. I said news coming out because only time you can determine if the news are true is when the actual announcements are made. Wrong or right. But knowing how things are and where social media has been, information, remember, I know, boss, a whole lot of things come out, whole lot of names. The JFF would have said that they would have gotten over 40 applications and then they have shortlisted to 5. Oh, first time here. Respect, man, and thanks very much for joining. Stay with the Sadi Crest family, all right? Blessings yourself, Peter. We have to respect that. Let me put it up there. First time. Blessings. Hey, I want to big up Peter Mystic for being a part of the show, all right? All the fans. Yes. RR, what you say? Nationwide spreading fake news. Oh, you know that. Hey. All right, people. All right. But now I keep it in the suspense. Let's see how quick we can share it. All right. So I'm gonna share the person in a little while. You go share. Yeah. Now remember, yeah man, Peter, subscribe. You could subscribe, you would not actually in a chat. Trust me. Glad for that. I'm happy for the new family. David Moyes. Oh, sir. Let me give you a few guests before. He's 61, 60, He's 63 years old. 63 years old. Yes. So the information that I say I get out of England people that this man is on the chat. It's no longer. Are you ready for it? We need more likes if you're not ready. Yeah, man. You know we do it for the likes. Yeah? Not for the fear. I said, alright. Let me see. Yeah, I me something here. I want to say. Maybe I missed the thing star. Look at it. Oh, you back. Alright, people. I'm gonna put this up and tell me if you don't know it. I tell you. As again, it is not Sadicrest information. We just bring it out based on what me. Alright? And you know we have to do with due diligence. Alright. Leo, when did Richie Feelings start doing Reggae Boys content on YouTube? When did Richie Feelings? We're not showing a boss, I tell you the truth. I'm a young on YouTube team. That's why I may just do a really little thing. Yes? Alright. Big up yourself, Lee Chung. Or Lee Young. Ah boy, Young Lee Young. Blessings man and thanks for joining. Yes? Leaking for don't call name. No, I'm not gonna call him name, but I'm gonna put up the picture. I'm not gonna put up the picture, I'm not gonna call him name. But as me say, when I say you don't think you want to see me put up in the picture of the RR, big up yourself, knock a good night. If you don't can guide me, remember say sorry you in the business. You see pardon. I wanna reach your feelings by the way. Lee Young, I wouldn't hurt your feelings. I don't know that name there. Honestly. But I know I say sorry. And you resent hurt your feelings. Yes, RR, you know you're ready to jump on, but you, of course you know I'm all I want to the show know man. But you just not gonna believe say I really me at all. Alright. So I'm ready for the thing. I mean I keep the picture up, you know, because well, as me say information is but ready for the thing. Hold on. Not even no breaking news if you send out, you know. But I will play something before we send it out. Alright? Hold on a minute. I have to jump this. Yes, I. People. I must be just using them mean. So it's a oh Lord, why not mash me up tonight? How about that? People on screen. This is the source. Not the source, but this is the information. This is the person I was told on the top of the JFF list. The information I gathered straight out of England. We have a few little sources in England, you know, trust me. Me have them. Yes, but this is the news. Paul, yes, really? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We get me other source in England giving out that. So therefore, this coach people right now, I'm not going to say any name, but for those who know this coach, he's on the list, top three to take over the reign of the Reggae Boys. Yes. Again, he's a good coach, Paul. But the truth of the matter is, the truth of the matter, while we are looking at coaches, yes, around, out of England, but one thing that will have hit me there, the fact that we have gotten 40 applications. Listen, that time I have sources everywhere. Not everywhere, but we kind of look if we get some sources at some places where very, very important. Yes? Kind of looking away. Had great success in Holland with, yeah, all right, Paul. What is the level of success he has? Did he win the championship here, Paul? This is what I want to know. Let's go, people. Hey, that is Steve. All right, leave it right there. So therefore, oh, yes, Paul, you're right. He has won the first championship. Yeah. All right. Good. So you see why? See another Englishman I come out will know nothing. On. So Paul, I want you to come in up, Paul. You know, say you way hours down, you know, but as an Englishman, give me some little thing about this coach. You don't have to call the name, just give me some information. I mean, have to tell me a look on, come tell me I did some research, you know. The thing about it, people, all of these coaches are club coaches. Yes? All of these people are club coaches. They have not coached national team for more than a year. A matter of fact, this coach have coached England team back in the 2000s, almost 20 years ago. He has coached the English team. And I have listened to a few interviews, yes, few sessions with this guy. And what I have gotten from it, and I did some, as I said, some research. He's always looking to get back into the England setup. But English thing no normal. So anyway, Paul, let me push back the link and jump on come give you some info. That's all I want some info from the big boss. Alright? Ah. He was a footballer too, people. It's not just that he is a coach. He had played Premier League, yes, back in the years. Way back then. And more so, I think he was more of he was a defensive midfielder. He was a midfielder. Never scored a lot of goals in his time. But I am happy that if he is successful, knowing that himself as a midfielder can fix the reggae boys midfield issues. So what to say about that? Because we are play Jamaica play autopilot as it relates to a midfield setup in the people. I don't know if you see it. I don't know if you see it, but trust me. Ima, hey Paul, boy, may I tell us time, and I try to say some things when I really hit, because I never want to get it right. But now me push it out, I can't say everything. Yes. So what I am saying, this coach that we just put out is a midfield. Yeah, he played midfield. And so if he's the one for the job, knowingly the reggae boys in recent time, as good as job as Hal Grips was doing, yes, we were playing the midfield setup was not right. I mean, trust me. I don't want to be so, negative or critical of, the team per se, but I will tell you that midfield needs setup. The little that I know about football people, the midfield is set up. A matter of fact, that midfield settings over the past couple of years woeful. Yeah, man. A matter of fact, we have seen defenders playing in midfield, and we have seen forwards playing in midfield. Not a problem. It's not a big, big deal, but it never come off. We're not the best fit. Yes, 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 people. So therefore, tell me now, what do you think? What do you say, people? What's your thought on this thing now? So we talk about Ole, we talk about, as I said, Miguel Cooley is in the setting. The coach that we have just seen was there. Yes, all right, Paul. Good, when you're ready, you jump in. Do you think this is a good setup for the Red. Talk to me, people. A matter of fact, I think I'm brave enough to call it in. And we talk. Yes, we're brave enough to call it. So the name people that I put out, for the name for the photo or the person that I put out is Steve McClaren. Right name, Steve. Yes, 63-year-old coach. So we have Steve McClaren. The information I got that is the number one source. Out of it. Out of England also tell me that Ole has his hand on the wheel as well. But I'm not sure that he will get it to drive it. But if you look at all these things, what you say now, ranking, I don't know much about this coach, to be honest. Okay, just his time at Manu assistant, not sure of his international coaching. As I said before, he had coached England back in was 2006 or 2004, around about that time. He has coached England in 2004 or 2006. Yep, all right, let me check the stats. Let me check the stats. So 2006 to 2007, let me can't find the pen. Yes, so 2006 to hold on. 2006 to 2007. So he got the job 2006 and he was sacked in 2007. Yeah. So that's his international coaching career. All right, people. Now, what I've got is stint at Manchester United. And I was told that even in recent time he was at Man U. Yes, even in recent time. Also, Paul and R say that he was part of the staff last year. I didn't know that. But based on coaching people, he's a very good coach behind the scene. So maybe that's why he's always been at Man U. So maybe he's not this big top manager, but a man who can prepare a team. Yes, maybe he's this person who can prepare a team. I think that's the situation. But therefore, can we rightly say, can we, or should I say, can we safely say, if Steve should receive this job, you think he'll be a right fit? All right, let me. Oh my God. Thank you very much, Michael. No song. All right, it should be back on now. Should be back on, right? Talk to me, Michael. I'm up. Sound back. All right, respect, respect, respect. Yeah, man, the card. Jump out and everything. So I am asking the question now. Respect. I'm asking the question. Well, since I bring the news to you now about Steve, and many of us heard about Oli, which of these two coaches will you give the match to take over the Reggae Boys? I think because many of us right now are modern day football fans, would more about Ole than Steve. But we'll have to do some reading, yeah? Or watch some YouTube thing to get some information on Steve and so on. But if I should take my choice, if I should make a selection, just like the question I'm asking, if I should give you my answer, I would go for Steve. Personally, I'm not sure that only hey people I want to when it comes on to team sports, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of information team sport bring about. Yes. And some people will say, boy, superstitious or superstition plays a role. Only if I should go by what I've seen from other people, honestly speaking, I wouldn't select Ole. As I said to you, I remember seeing Steve coaching, but nothing to write about, to be honest. All right, Michael, I soon get you some information on Steve, all right? So Paul is coming on, a man from out of England, going to share a lot more on Steve. All right, good. So as I say, know much, so you're gonna get it tonight, man. Trust me on that. So it's a big job with challenges. Big job, no doubt about it. All right. Ronaldo saying only play chaotic football. We would have win games 4-2 and 4-3. Well, guess what? If we are winning, no problem, Even if we win half nil, if we can win half nil, me good pan that. As long as we not lose. No real control. Oh my God. Well, that's another story. That's another side. Yes. Are saying that Ole CV the best choice considering all factors. You're saying that. What are the factors? All right. Michael, Ole is a player's coach, but not much of a tactician. He will meet Marsh and other top coaches. Oh, wow. So you're saying, Michael, then would make sense since I'm not a tactician. No, sir, if I'm not a tactician, I'm not implying. No, 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 no. A player's coach are going to bring on too much problem in the camp. And see right now, when a fee farmer player or come in based on some information, if that is right. If Mason Greenwood should, hey, listen, let me not get into that part of it. That's not what the show about tonight. But again, if that is the case, Michael, I wouldn't go with Oli either. And Oli wouldn't be my choice. A matter of fact, people, let me let this stand straight and I'm just discussing that because of what we have on the table. But if it is me alone, I don't go for no coach out of England. Let's say only play for Norway in the game 1-1 versus Jamaica. Away, I say. Big thing. Peter Mystic, whoever is more attack minded is what I think, yes, we need. All right. You're right, boss. And I think so. I think so. We can't take the defensive team, Bridge. Man, start defend 1-1 after 67 minutes. Or Nilala should say. What are you really up to? Madness. All right. Back to you, Michael. That is a recipe for disaster. If a coach is not a tactical guru, you're right. If he's not tactical, we are with him. Madness. No make no sense. And if that is the case, man, I go blame him now no tactics, But when me see my coach Manu sometime, I have to wonder, brother. Factor in Oli, mentor by Sir Alex. Listen to me, man. But Steve also mentored by Sir Alex, too. Yeah, man. He was Alex first assistant coach at Manchester United, boss. So you'd have gotten a lot from Sir Alex. So if that is a factor, Oli gone second again. Yeah, man, Oli gone second again. But again, just to backtrack a little, people, if the sources that are brought here are correct, where Ole and Steve are the main persons up there. So, categorize them two English coaches if you want. I say English because that's where I know them coach. But I have not seen one South American coach. Knowing that the only time we have gone to a senior World Cup was a South American who brought us there. Hmm? Only guy. Me think you try fight out Ole, Bridget. The information you put up, you push Ole out the race, Yeah, man. Hold on. Okay, it should be attacking. Attacking coach without defensive capabilities will frustrate the fan base. Different students as Ole didn't seem to learn much. Why I don't want for this Ole, but no, me I tell you, Ole was a disaster, man. And if that's what we're going by, people, trust me. No, me I say. Who is best qualified? RR. Ole is best qualified? And that's what you're saying, RR? No, sir. I don't think you should even look at that. Ole made his debut against Jamaica and scored the same game. Pele debut with a goal, 1-1. Oh, but again, Ole made his debut against Jamaica and scored the same game. Pele debut with a goal, 1-1. All right, respect Bala. Front runner, sir. Okay, all right. So, me not beat it on you. Me not beat it on. I'm glad for that. Glad for the info. But when me I say people, why is it that the JFF have not shortlisted any South American coach? There's no, I can't believe, I can't see through 40 applications that have, come into the JFF and not even one South American. Or there was no South American applied. Or is it that no South American fit the bill so they never shortlisted it? I think later on they will give us some information, right, sir? Speed? I know you're the vote. Yeah, man. You know, you know Speedy Warrior there. Well, not Speedy Warrior, but Ronald Speed. Mhm. So, people, we still need some more likes to that one. The fact that we drop our information like this and news like this, me think we forget more likes. Sure, we forget more likes to this, man. Trust me. See this nowhere else. Hey, there's too many English based. Okay. Michael is saying again, wish we had an Argentina or a Spanish coach in the mix. Hey, let me tell you something, my boss. I can't see how we never have a South American coach in the mix. You see, one of the things that I believe, if you look at what Jamaica do, and again, somebody gonna hit me and say it's not so much Jamaica because there are a lot of foreigners. But what is expected and fans, you see the 12 man, the Jamaica, we are the 12 man, so don't get rid of we in a boss. One of the things that we love is the type of flair football. I'm not saying that we're gonna have a flair all the way out because you flair yourself out of a competition. But if you notice, the players that we have, especially out wide players, we love the ball. And I believe that we need a little bit of that. So we have a little of the South American type of thing, bro. And I think that we should have at least a South American in the mix. At least just if you bring out the information, yes? Had JFF released any names of the applicant? Big question. No, they have not. They have stated that some people who have applied, but they have not, released names like that. All right. But you don't know things setting up, man. Information in, information leak, information gathered from all angles. Yes. Hey, I want to be can tell you, in this football, hey, yes, the business of football right now, people, and Sham 6, may I tell you this. As much as JFF has not released any name, many people in Jamaica, maybe people who are not on YouTube like myself, are chat enough, know what's happening. And you see, if I want to be nosy, it's just because in a situation like this, people, me don't want to take it on. Because me's not a man like this who willing to come out and give information without knowing the facts. That's me. But I can tell you, I can get deeper if I want. If I want to stay away because, we don't get them together to be good if I are the first man for busting news. Not true. Oh, you mean Pele Wilson? Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for that. That's true. I remember that game. Yeah. Big up yourself, Richard Spirit. Tuning in. Thanks. What's up? What's up with you? Blessings. All right. So JFF might keep camp in England, so save money on the traveling and first class flight. Oh yeah. So I only have plane. Hotel if you put you up. Or you mean Steve? You mean the English plane? All right, maybe. Then I have no hotel and then I have no plane. A matter of fact. So that I don't know how much I can save. Remember now, flight to England is twice as much as flight to South America. Yeah. I'm just guessing, but I know English flight. I think you can get cheaper flight to South America, even though you might have to connect. But let's say go. Simoes applied. Not sure. Not sure at all. I heard some people say Simoes was also in the mix. Not sure about that. Yes. And Simoes' time is past, and we are seeking a new direction to get to World Cup 2026. So if Simoes came in, that was the first name, but was scratched from the list. I don't think Speed would even look. Hey, listen, no man, you see how Speed play football? Speed now look for Simoes, and I would look at it. Simoes gone. Thank you very much, Renee, for what you have done for Jamaica. Yeah, man, blessings. Sir Lee, good night. But you know, I know this is your place, Sir Lee. You know where you're thinking. Yeah, man, jump on, come keep the high, active company. Yeah. All right. So people, and I must say, sir, here we have the great Paul Whitty, football analyst coach and mentor out of England, Derby, England. Good night, Paul, or good morning. How are you?
Hold on, I've got no sound.
Not hearing you.
I must say, here we have the great, witty, panelists. So people and
Derby, England.
Morning, Kevin. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I'm hearing you now. What's up?
Hold on.
Yeah, man, loud and clear right now.
Having a couple of technicals here.
Okay. Good night, Sir Lee. Yeah, man, come on the show, Lee, and stop playing. Oh, I forgot to.
Hold on, I've lost sound.
I'm hearing you. You're not hearing us. Can you hear me?
Testing 1, 2.
Paul?
Testing 1, 2.
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you, Paul. If you are hearing me, give me a
Kevin,
thumbs
can
up.
you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
You can hear me? I can't hear you guys.
You can hear me? Oh, Lord.
Let me just jump off and come back on.
No problem.
2 seconds.
All right, boss. Oh, where's the Bala? Simon did applied? What Simon have been doing the last couple of years? Did he actively coaching or gone back to his original job? If you don't know the original, we're telling you tonight. We're just asking the question. All right, so Michael, you said you want some more information on Steve, and so Paul out of England, he will share all this information on these coaches. He has a lot of background information. As I say, he's a real analyst, football analyst. Yes, he's a mentor and a coach out of Derby, England. Yes, so he will give us some more insight on that one. All right. It was our youth development that we need to fix and cut out quota. I drive. Let's say I drive taxi. We are talking about this. Nah, talk about no taxi on the show. You a taxi driver, Michael? Are you a taxi driver? If you are not a taxi driver, why you come to with taxi on the show, sir? Sure. Anyway, my people, still need some more lights. Remember, you know, the Saudi press show is what gives you solid information, and people, I will tell you this. You just know when if you come with your foolishness, man. Really appreciate the analyst drives taxi bars. We know, but we know why you come with that, brother. That's why I ask if man go back to your original job and you come with them things. What if everybody know that Simos was a taxi driver? All right, blessings. Yes, Paul, up and running. You're good.
Morning. You hear me?
Loud and clear, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, bless up.
Morning. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, respect.
So,
yes,
Steve McClaren, huh?
You know, I mean, that's information I got from another source out of London. I don't know if you picked it up.
And like any good journalist, you don't reveal your sources, you see?
Go again?
Yeah. I said, like any good journalist, you don't reveal your sources.
I can't.
There you go. That's right. So, but Steve McClaren, I noticed a few of the messages in the chat. Morning, everybody. So many to mention. Bala, Live, Rapid, Sham 6, and many more. Morning, guys. It's early over here, but here I am. So, Steve McClaren, as you well know, I'm based in Derby. As well as being a coach and an England manager, he also managed Derby County for a while. Wow. But he had his biggest coaching success at FC Twente in Holland.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do a Google search, not only is he famed for using an umbrella during the Croatia game for England, which they lost, so kind of highlighting his middle classness because he didn't want to get wet with the players. So the optics of that just looked bad because England lost, and then there he was with an umbrella and just weren't good.
Hold on a minute, Paul. That's some useful information, you know. People, not everything you hear, you're going to take it and bash anybody. But what did you say? During that game, McClaren as the head coach used an umbrella when
Yeah.
was it raining?
So England played Croatia at Wembley, and England had to win the game. I think it was Euros or.
Hold on, Paul. I don't know if it's an alone on my side, but you have been.
In any case, it was a typical English day where it was raining.
Mhm.
That happens a lot over here.
Paul?
You know, maybe not as heavy as when it rains your side, but
Paul?
still, that's football
Paul? You see,
over here. I try and tell people all the time, but
people, I don't know if you are is the same thing I'm hearing, but Paul, you have been going in and out and not hearing you so clearly. Don't know if you are hearing me. Paul?
say,
Bless up yourself, Rap. Bless up. Um, Big up yourself for joining, all right? Yeah,
how are
man,
we going
respect.
now? How are we
Yes,
going now?
it's better now, Paul.
Stable? Cool.
Yes, still now.
Okay. What I just realised was so I was using the mobile connection through the tablet rather than Wi-Fi. So I've connected to Wi-Fi now. Should be nice
Okay,
and steady.
nice.
Okay. So
Good.
we'll pick up. I can see myself nice and clear in high definition. That's probably not a
Ah,
good thing, but there we go. But yeah, so we pick up from the umbrella, yeah.
mhm.
So England. So yeah, Steve McClaren's head coach England, and he came out a little bit after the players, and it was raining.
Yes.
And listen, he's probably done what millions of coaches have done when they're thinking, "Well, I'm stood up still. I'm not running around like these men there. So let me just pull out an umbrella." But
Mhm.
you see, that's fine when you win a game of football. When your team loses, and you know the British press, they're tough. They're
True.
tough, tough, tough. So he then became the man with the umbrella. You know, like Graham Taylor before him, they call him the turnip. He became the man with the umbrella. And better still, when he was managing FC Twente and they won the Dutch league, if you search on YouTube, you'll find Steve McClaren, who kind of turned Dutch for a little bit
Mhm.
and come with a Dutch accent. So if he did come into the JFF, I'd imagine he'd soon be picking up patois, if that's anything to go by. But
You're
within
good,
the
man.
industry, yeah,
You're good.
well, listen, a little bit of pepper, catch him, and he might, just take a bit of soaking, you know what I mean, and show a little bit of
Mhm.
culture, you know. But listen,
Yes.
in the industry, he's renowned as being a very good coach. He's
Okay.
renowned as being a very good coach. People will say, yeah, great coach, maybe not as good a manager. And this comes back to the conversation we had before, in the last the episode before last, I believe. The subtle difference between management and coaching.
Mhm.
Management, you're over all the administration and the relationship with players, their contracts, everything, the club, the stadium, academy, everything. If you're head coach or first team coach, you're just that. You're overseeing the coaching, the development of players, and not only. Yeah, you can have a little bit of input in transfers, but mainly it's about the coaching of the players. And as I said, his reputation within um, the UK, especially, and you'd even say Europe, is high. He's got good stock. And last season he was, I believe, back in the Manchester United setup. Saw him on the bench there a few times. So even though he has been a manager himself, say with Derby County, Middlesbrough, other teams,
Yes.
he's actually happy to sit in the background and be one of the coaching staff. I don't know what his actual title is in the Manchester United setup, but he's part of the coaching setup there currently. So I can imagine for somebody who has been an international manager, and as we spoke about before, how international management it's more ambassadorial. I mean, for one, he's going to have to travel to Jamaica and spend time in Jamaica. I mean, the man's thinking, I'm not getting any younger. I'm going to have to spend time in Jamaica and manage a football team. I mean, the chore, the hard work with that, just that
Yes.
alone makes it attractive. I think somebody with his elevation in terms of the game could be a good fit for Jamaica. Could be a good fit because I think some of the Jamaica players need to feel that who's leading them has levels and a CV of work behind them to say, this is why you're here. Yeah? Because I think maybe some of the coaches in the past, some of the boys are thinking, sure, who are you to tell me? You know? And
Yes.
it's the same. I mean, like I mentioned, I started with this new team, Redwood Colts, and I get that. I get that feels from some of the players. They're like, "Who are you? We've been playing football together for years. Who are you to come in and tell us this, tell us that?"
Yes.
I can tell them all the experience of where I've been in the game. It's irrelevant to them. They're like, "I don't know you. You prove to us that you're good." So I think that's sometimes the thing. You have to get the buy-in from the players, and if you don't, doesn't matter what skills and attributes and knowledge you've got, you ain't going to get a tune out of them. So I appreciate that. I think it would be a good fit if it's happening. Amazing, and I think the lads and hopefully man like Leon Bailey will come back in the fold. But also because he's an English-based coach, the one thing Steve McClaren had when he was at Derby was great links. He could get players on the transfer market and on loan that other teams couldn't get because of his links.
Wow.
It included a period of time when Jesse Lingard came to Derby County as well, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm incorrect in saying that was through the timeline of Steve McClaren, then I apologise. But it was like when Frank Lampard was at Derby County, the players that he brought to Derby was unbelievable. Derby would have never got those players with another coach. So my point on that would be, if he's in post, then you've got people looking like, going back 3 generations, somebody in my family came from Jamaica, and all of a sudden he's tapping into lads that are saying, look, you're probably not going to get to England, right? You've played under 18s for England, but truthfully, you're probably not going to make the international squad for England. You're good, but not that good.
Right.
However, I'm Jamaica national coach, and your grandmother or your auntie's, uncle's, brother's, sister's mother was from Jamaica. Change your nationality or declare this, to do that, whatever, and come play for us. And players will come. Players will come out of the woodwork, like English-based players. Like you've got Mikel Antonio, who's come up through the ranks from non-league right up to the Premier League. They've done it the hard way. He didn't start in academies. He's come up through the bottom of football and worked his way up. So it's so some of the questions coming in, Alice, how good is he to adapt on the fly to manage home situations?
Oh.
Well, yes, sir, Michael. Morning. No, yeah, he's a good. Listen, he's old school in many ways, but he's also one of those coaches who, yeah, as I say, as a coach, he's good. He adapts. He does adapt. But he's also one of those people who will attract a good team around him. And you've got to think that, international experience. He managed the England team. And it wasn't just for one day like Sam Allardyce. It was for a good period of time.
It's for a year.
No?
It was for a year.
See, okay, there you go. So, again, listen, I'm excited about that rumor, and what they always say is there's no smoke without fire. So if that's going around, then there's a good chance it's going to happen. As I said, a man who's had taste of international football will want to get back there because it's not just coaching; it's ambassadorial. You're traveling around the world representing a nation. You know, you got look at what name Roberto Di no, not Di Matteo. Um, sorry, the guy he was at Wigan. He was at Wigan. He's now managing Portugal, but he's Spanish himself. And during the Euros, what's his name now?
Oh,
Oh,
he managed Everton too, right? Yeah, he managed Portugal just in the Euro. He,
just in
used,
the Euros. That's right.
he was at Everton, I believe, at once.
That's right. And he
Yes.
managed Wigan. I think he won the FA Cup with Wigan, but they got relegated that season.
By the way,
So
he was at was he at Belgium one of the
Belgium,
time? Yes.
Belgium. Yeah, he
Yes.
managed Belgium too. So
Okay.
what you notice is for some coaches, in the same way, um, club coaching has become a bit of a revolving door.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've got to that international management level, and then you like that kind of the feel of that, you ain't got the day to day of club football and all the bits and pieces with that. It seems that clubs and international federations, they're not afraid to say, "Oh yeah, you were all loyal to them 5 minutes ago. Now you're going to come and manage us," because what they're looking at is coaches of a certain mindset, mentality, play certain styles. International football's different. It's very different. I mean, for one, when you've only got the players for a small period of time, and you're trying to get them to unlearn what they do at club football, and then follow a system that makes the best of them, which, I mean, England got to the final of the Euros, but you would say that probably as a coach looking in personally, that England didn't maximise their attributes as a squad. They just didn't. They didn't for whatever reason. But he's gone in now anyway, so that advert is actually available now. You can apply for that job, for the England job. But Michael's come back. What he said? Did he use the offensive weapons in his team? Jamaica has several offensive-minded players. It's a really good point, Michael. Really good point. Yes, from memory, because I'm trying to remember the era of players he would have had then. I'm thinking that's like towards the end of the Lampard and Gerrard era and players like that. England were very much so an attacking team because remember there was a period of time that like the likes of Raheem Sterling were loved by England. And when England had some really bad spells in qualification games and tournaments, Raheem Sterling was the only shining light because you give the man the ball or put him into spaces where he's attacking and just causing problems. Even for Chelsea, when Chelsea were awful, Raheem Sterling was still one of the best players in the team. And, it's a shame that he chose England because he would have been ripe for Jamaica, So,
You didn't
it's...
encourage him, man. When he was at Liverpool, you should have got that into his head.
Well, listen, you don't remember when we had Sterling, Suarez, Sturridge?
I remember both Sturridge and Sterling are Jamaica.
Okay, you see it there? Same like Mr. John Barnes, one of my heroes growing up, but he played for England. But this is the point I'm saying. If you've got somebody like Steve McClaren leading Jamaica, he'll have fingers and connections into the younger England teams, right? Because he'll know those coaches, the Lee Carsley's of this world and other guys. And he'll be able to say to some of them, he'll approach some of them players and say, yo, come play for me. Come play for Jamaica. You know what I mean? Come play. Our home games are in Jamaica. Every time you play at home, you got holiday. You know what I mean? He'll sell it to them.
Paul, the way you talk just now, it seems like we all get a quote where, listen, everybody more look man in England and say, come to the Englishmen and leave out our own homegrown in Jamaica. That's so like, if he has all that links and can get all these young, inspiring and exciting footballers from England, then maybe you just do that. And then our own local grown, would got less chance of being a part of the setup.
And that's the difficult balance. That is the difficult balance because how many superstars do you jettison in, and how many, genuine grassroots from that country players do you bring through? I mean, the only thing I could say is let's use the Euros as an example, and you've got teams like Serbia, Georgia, who had their nation's own players. Countries with less population than some of the big cities in the UK, and they're on the international stage as a team, and you have to think, why is that? Why is that? What's motivating them? Well, I think about tennis, which is another sport I love. I think about tennis, and you look at like the Djokovic's of this world, he's on the coming down of his career now. But during his career, he's been so successful. I think he's won over 20 Grand Slam titles, probably even
Yeah.
more than that, maybe even 25, mid 25s, which is unbelievable. In an era when you had Federer, Nadal, even Murray stepped in there, took a couple. So he would have won more in a period of time when there wasn't so much competition. But he came from Eastern Europe, and it's been said time and time again that um, when you get players who come from a challenging background, let's say that, they're more hungry. They're more hungry because if you're starting at square zero, okay, and you go in and say playing football as a career is putting food on the table for you, your family, keeping a roof over your head, then you're hungry. You're hungry like anything. I'm telling you. And a lot of these Eastern European players are successful because they've got that hunger. They're not cosseted by the WTA, sorry, the English Tennis Association, things like that. They have to work hard to just get to the level where they're even on the tour, the ATP tour. And I believe the same would be for the Jamaican players because Jamaica's like a small country. Was it
Mhm.
3.5, 4 million people max? And so it's tight, you know. As soon as you get to certain points in the country, everybody knows who you is and things like that. So it's about striking that balance of getting homegrown who are hungry, yeah, and got that desire. Because remember, when you're playing international football, that's your shop window. So you're giving yourself a chance to leave Jamaica
True.
and then move to the Premier League or a European league or a South American league, where then you're doubling, trebling, quadrupling your income, and you're creating a lifestyle for yourself and your family that you could only dream of. So the incentive for yourself is huge. It's huge. That should be the motivation for any Jamaican player. Okay, I've played district football. I'm really good. I've got to the national team. Okay, every time I play for Jamaica, I leave everything on the pitch because this could transform my family's life and my
True.
life. That should be the motivation.
So Michael asking again, he's saying calling you analyst. Note we
I
are
love it.
we, note we have a major issue with our midfield, but we cannot coordinate a unit there to save us. And prior to you coming on, Paul, I made mention of that we don't have a midfield in our setup. Our midfield is atrocious. I mean, trust me, you can't determine the type of what would I say, the football style that Jamaica is playing with that midfield. I don't know, and
Yeah.
I've seen people bouncing all over the place. I don't see one midfield general in that setup. And I was saying that McClaren, Steve, in his playing career, was a midfielder. So I believe
Okay.
that would have been a good set. What say you? Could he do a little bit better with the midfield?
Well, let's look at Gareth Southgate as an example on that one. Okay. In his playing career, he was a defender, and people have
Oh
accused England of
Lord.
being. Let me go with this one. You see where I'm going. People have
Yes.
accused him of being and England of being very defensive. And you might look at it in reflection and say, yeah, that's true. Listen, as a player, when you become a coach, and I can speak for myself only, and my position, I play up front. And so I'm always looking about attack forward. How you play is how you coach, generally speaking. How you play is how you coach. How you played in your career is how you coach. So, we're creatures of habit. We don't fundamentally change as people. So when you coach, like what mattered to you in the game matters to you when you coach. So if he's a midfielder, yeah, he might bring some of that midfield talent into his coaching and be able to improve Jamaica in that way. But again, it's about striking the balance. You don't need 4 Leon Baileys, you need one. What you might then need is three players who just sit in a shape. But this is where somebody with better coaching experience, when they're working with the players, can discipline them in how to be and stay in position. Because that's the art of coaching. It's not even about the players that you've got. And again, the Euros show that because the big teams struggled in the group stages against the lesser nations because they were fit, they were organised, and they had a plan, which was we're going to hold, we're going to stay in a low block. You break us down if you can, but if you can't, we're going to counter attack, and we might even catch it on a set piece. And some big teams got embarrassed by that, because you've got to hang in there with these guys who are just training to be able to run for 90 minutes. And if you notice again, these teams are making substitutions at 55, 60, 65, 70 minutes, freshen up the legs to keep that level of press and frustration there. Because I tell you, when you're a good team and the team frustrates you, it affects your game. So again, his skill as a coach brought into a team with athletes, which the Jamaican reggae boys are, I have no reason to believe he can't make an improvement. I have no reason to believe, because that's just coaching. And it tells me that prior to him, if he does come, let's hope he does, that you haven't had a coach who has the ability to coach position, in and out of possession, how to set up defensively. Because a lot of teams you won't see them and they won't tell you. Yeah, but at the start of the game they'll tell you the formation they're playing. But then what they're coached to do is when they've not got the ball to change shape. So that might mean they start off as a 4-4-2, but when they're out of possession, they drop into a 4-5-1. So one of the strikers drops into the midfield, makes a 5. But when they're attacking, they change again. They go into like a 4-3-3. So the midfield becomes a 3. Attacking wise, there's 3 players attacking. But that's only through good coaching and drilling those practices in, that when you're in certain phases of the pitch, you do certain things. And that's the difference between good coaches and bad coaches. Some coaches just say, "Yeah, see the ball there, go on," and players are like, "Okay, let's just go and play freestyle." You know what I mean? But if you can drill players, and this is why it can take a long time, and that's the challenge with international football is getting those tactics and that positional sense and responsibility into players in a short space of time, especially if they're not doing it in their club football. Yeah.
One other thing, Paul, and let me just go through this. Marlon says Coach Grimmy never once set the team up for the midfielders to play to their ability. You're right. Having Casey Palmer playing as 8 and Low as Low, why you put Low in it, man? Low was never a midfielder. But anyway, trial and error. Palmer can't express himself in the attacking third. And that's the problem that I have. Really and truly, that midfield setup was really never together at all. Never together. But I just want to address this one. Bala, will JFF keep Miran Garden with the new coach? I think they will, because the plan for Miran Garden, if I remember correctly, when he just started, that the JFF would have said that they need a local-based coach to be in and around so they can learn. No problem. They can learn and grow as it relates to international football. So maybe if they don't keep him, they will take another coach to fit that bill. So and I think that's a good thing. Yes, not just having local grown players, but to have local coaches in and around the setup to gain that level of experience. So hopefully they keep him, or at least, I'm just saying, or at least another coach giving the opportunity. All right. So respect Bala. I was asking Paul, did you know the Italian study reveals the defenders use more brain work than attackers?
Well, that may well be the case, but I know that strikers get paid more money, so we'll stay there. Sorry, I'm being playful. No, that may well be the case. All right, that may well be the case. And if you think about it in a game, your defensive players and your goalkeeper, they see the whole game because of their position. They see the whole game. Midfielders, they're spinning around all the time. Mm-hmm. Strikers, they play with their back to the goal. So the perspective on the game is very different. So yeah, I can understand that and accept that. And I think over the years, if you look at it, probably I don't know the research exactly on this, whether it's factual, but just in my own mind, I think of how many midfield and stroke defensive players become managers and coaches. In my mind, that seems greater than those that are attacking players. You don't really see. Pele didn't become a coach, to the best of my knowledge. Maradona tried it and it didn't really work. So I could support that. RI. It's a good shout, bro. It's a good shout. But yeah, I mean, somebody was just talking about bringing through the Jamaican young lads, and not just the players, but also the coaching staff. And this is where I will give the England setup credit in the fact that they saw what France did. So France have got, I think it's called Clairefontaine, and there's a documentary out at the moment with Thierry Henry where he talks about he's interviewed by Stephen Bartlett. Okay, so it's DOAF, Diary of a CEO, or DOAC, something like that. Stephen Bartlett interviews him. He's on Dragon's Den in the UK. Anyway,
gotta check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. He interviews Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry talks about the relationship with his dad and this Clairefontaine place. And when you look through the players who've gone through there, it's pretty much a who's who is in the France international team now. And they drag players from all the worst districts of France, but they were ballers. They were all ballers. So um, England then looked at France doing the double. They looked at Spain winning the World Cup, the Euros, the World Cup. And said, right, we've got to do something different. And that's how St. George's Park became into being. Because they said, right, we need to have Wembley, don't cut it no more. We need to have a central hub for English football. So St. George's Park was created. And they also reviewed and revived the coach education model. I used to have to pay to be a licensed coach every year. They stripped that away. So you could just register as a licensed coach. But to do that, you had to complete your first aid certificate every 3 years, your child protection and DBS check, and you had to do so many hours of continued professional development, i.e. football coaching or football education observed by the FA every season. So it was trying to bring a base level to the standards. So what I'm trying to say is, long way around, if that can be brought into Jamaica, those structures to say, right, we might not win the next Gold Cup, or the Copa America white card. We might not win that. But let's say in 2 cycles of the World Cup,
Yes.
we get to the World Cup and we're in the group. Because once you're in the group, you've got a chance. So then you're thinking, right, okay, that means we're looking at, say, players that are now 12 years old. Girls and boys that are 12 years old, 2 cycles of the World Cup, that's 8 years. That puts those players at 20 years old. Okay? And again, if you look at, like, say, Argentina that won the World Cup and track back to the Argentinian team that won the Olympics and had success at a youth level, these things take cycles of time. It's not like club football where you can turn it around in a season or 2. It is No, I haven't heard of what am I saying? The Cantancia? Can't even say that. Is that Italian?
It's Italian.
Man, exposing me, I can't even say that word. What?
Listen, I will come
Find
back
the
to
link.
it, right?
Find the link and send it. Put it on the group. So yeah. So if we can bring those structures in to Jamaican Football Federation, then the next generation is going to benefit. You've got to look at this. It's not an immediate fix. Whoever comes in is not an immediate fix.
True.
But can they get more out of the players they've got? 100%. You can make them fitter. You can make them more aware of where they are on the pitch. You can make them play better and play with more heart, more desire. Okay, you can do all of those things overnight. Yeah.
So what are the things, Paul? I look at Coach Steve, and I recognize that he has never had a coaching stint for more than 3 years. He has not
Okay.
spent more than 3 years. That's not true. His first stint at Middlesbrough, he has spent 5 years.
Uh-huh.
But then it's 2 years or less in any other state.
Yeah.
What would have given rise to that? I mean, a coach this club for 1 year or 1 season, and then he's at another club. I mean, that's not enough time, I believe, to really put things in place or to change or to set your own philosophy. Because you take up a team that already have the players, that already have the setup, the philosophy is there. Are you the same type of coach to continue, or you need a little more time to put whatever you have in your own skill set to get the team play the way you want? So, I mean, moving around, what would have given rise to that?
Well, if you think of hold on, my screen just flipped over. There we go. Go back to that. If you think of let's call it the normal world of work. So many years ago, I was working for a charity, and I got a promotion and moved into what they call the clinical director of the charity. And I was introduced to a lady called, her name was Sam Westwood, and she was a senior manager in the charity at the time.
Mhm.
And I can remember she'd be at events and things like that and talking. The woman was inspirational. But then I heard she was leaving. And I was like thinking, I need to find out why she's leaving, because it's like she's doing some good work. We had a chat and she said to me, she says, I don't stay with any company for more than 2 years, Paul. I says, why? She goes, well, the first 6 months, you're learning the job anew. The second 6 months, you're refining it. The third 6 months, you're implementing your ideas and just perfecting what you've done in the previous 18 months or so. The last 6 months, I'm looking at where I'm moving next. And she said that's what she's done all through her career, because she says after that 2 year period, you stay for longer than 2 years, you start to coast, you start to get comfortable, people get comfortable with you, you get stale. You're not inspired anymore. And so if we look at somebody like, say, Mourinho and his track record, somebody like Conte and their track record, now they do have personalities where people are like, couldn't have dealt with them for longer than 2 years, to be fair, because they're prickly. But you look at their success record and can't fault it. Now, you've also got the other model, the older model, where you had the Alex Ferguson's 21 odd years, Arsene Wenger 20 odd years, Jurgen Klopp 9 years, David Moyes a good 10 years odd at Everton, was it? It was a good period of time. I can't remember off the top of my head. But those 10 years are rare. They're rare nowadays, because the role of manager, even if you're given the title of manager and contractually the manager of a football club, you've got sporting directors, technical directors, scouts, and all this is kind of taken away from the manager. So then, like I've done with this group with Redwood, you just have to come in and coach a set of players that already exist. So you're not bringing in players, you're not scouting yourself. Your club's actually telling you who they're going to buy, you know, and that's the very difference there. So it's again, I just think, you know, if it's possible, you've got to think, like, even 10 years ago, for someone to say an ex-England international manager was going to come and manage the Reggae Boys, you'd be like, no, that's not going to happen. Whereas we live in a time now where man can see the opportunity. Listen, he ain't coming to Jamaica because it's just to help Jamaica. He's thinking, this is good for my career.
Of course.
You know? Because if you look at, Roberto Martinez, that's the name, isn't it?
Yeah, Martinez. Correct.
Martinez. So you think when he left Wigan with the FA Cup but got relegated, if man had said to him, okay, he's going to manage Belgium and Portugal in years to come, you'd have said no chance. He just got a Premier League team relegated. So you just don't know with football. So McClaren might be thinking, okay, this is my step out from being just a coach to being the head honcho again. I'm the manager now. I'm at the top of the tree in this setup. What have I got to lose? Well, I'm going to spend time in Jamaica, so that's great. He ain't losing there. If it goes well, people are going to love me. And if it goes really well, I might get another gig in international football with another federation.
Okay. This is it now. Michael is saying the supposed academy now in service for Jamaica is dependent on the coaching project set forth by JFF now. But what do you suggest a great development structure?
So the first thing is you've got to have local hubs, okay? You've got to have local hubs and local schools of excellence. But to do that, you've got to have a network of coaches that are coaching to a certain level. They haven't got to coach to the same methodology, because the more bits you give a player, the better the player becomes. But you've got to have local hubs. Like I say, I was just in Jamaica the other day, and we was on the west side of Jamaica in the grill. And then I'm realising, like, travelling from Dessau to even Brownstown, where I met Kevin, and then we went down to John's Hall, like, that's distance. So, you know, people can't make them distances. That ain't going to happen. But I can remember coming from the airport, how many pitches I saw, how many football pitches I saw. So there's no reason why there can't be, whether it's once or twice a week, a coach of a certain distinction at these local areas, delivering training sessions, cascading knowledge to local coaches to improve those coaches. Because let me tell you this, footballers don't come from anywhere but the streets. Even in this country, they start playing football on the street, at school, and then get into academies and then become professionals. So you have to get that bottom structure first. You have to get that first. So you start with a network of hubs. And you have the elite coaches dropping in from time to time, giving bits to the local coach to say, okay, try this drill, try this, try that. Because remember, as coaches, we're only ever borrowing bits from each other. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Some man might say, I'm stealing bits. No, I don't like the word stealing. You're borrowing bits. Because like the conference I was at the other day, I'm talking to other coaches. I've already took little bits and pieces that man said, oh, I do this, I do that. I was like, wow, I never thought of that. Let me try that. Let me try doing that. You know? So we're always borrowing bits. So if say me, if I was in a district now and somebody with international experience comes or sends one of their coaching staff to me and to my group and says, right, I'm going to observe you do a session and feed back to you. And then next week I might come, say they come for a 4-week period. Then next week when I come, I'll actually run the session a little bit. You observe me so you can take something from it. Imagine how them players feel. They're looking and thinking, yo, I usually only see this guy on the TV, sat in the dugout behind Stephen McClaren. Yeah? It lifts everybody. You know what I mean? It lifts everybody up. And that's where you have to start, because the players that get to the top, they start from the grassroots. So you have to get your grassroots fixed first. You can't be successful international until you've got grassroots sorted. And that's where you have to start.
Paul, a coach like McClaren.
Yeah. All right, one cast. Ooh.
Yes.
Wow. All I'm saying, right? On a man, you better remortgage your yard, your car, everything, because he ain't gonna be cheap. But what he brings to the table, he could be the catalyst to transformative change for Jamaican football.
Yes.
He could be that guy. And then what you got to think is that cycle. If you then have success as an international team, I mean, even look at Adidas sponsoring the international team strip. All right, all of a sudden now, you know the amount of over here now, the amount of people I see wearing Jamaica colours who would never have worn a Jamaica strip in their life, but because it's Adidas, they're straight on it. So all of a sudden, you've got something that says, okay, I want to be part of that. If you can then get the team right, that helps the commercial side. It's like a ball rolling down a hill. Literally, one thing works well, that helps the other, that helps the other, that helps the other, helps the other. You know? So again, if you get a big name like him, then you've got to remember there's other sponsors that will come when they see his face leading the team. They'll be like, oh, okay, McClaren Dessa, okay, you know. So look, you know what I mean? Like, look at even over here. I don't know if you get the adverts over there. You've got people like Ian Wright and Raheem Sterling who were supported by Gillette. You know,
Yes.
and again, back in the day, there was never even a black person in a Gillette advert. You know,
So,
and you can see I like to have a shave, so you know, it's good.
I have some information, Paul, that I got as it relates to or asked the cost of McClaren.
Yeah.
The show prior to this, I said that these coaches that we're looking at will cost us some 10 million per year, upwards of 10 million.
Yeah.
McClaren, being an assistant coach, listen to this. He has a contract that goes up, that expires, and this is what I'm getting now. That it expires 2025.
Yeah.
He's an assistant coach at Manchester United. Expired at 2025. You know what his wage is like now? You laugh.
Yeah, man.
His wage now
Premier League, bro.
is 15 million pounds. That's roughly 3 billion Jamaican dollars per year.
That's why I'm laughing. Because listen, his Premier League with history, yeah, and he's been remember he was at Manchester United with Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yes.
So people know his worth.
Tons of experience.
That's it. And the fact that he can say, I'm an ex-England manager, umbrella or not. I'm an ex-England manager. That straight there is £5 million a year already before he starts talking. You know what I mean? He ain't coming out of bed for like nothing more than certain. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just coming on to what RR's saying, look there. If I think the Adidas deal is helping Jamaica, 100%,
They're asking them to
100%,
shop, yeah? Of course.
100%. Yeah,
That will go a
massive.
far way. Mhm.
Yeah, helping massive because it's just making Jamaica normalised like any other international team. Oh,
True.
Jamaica kit, Argentina kit, England kit. It's put on a playing field where it didn't used to be. I can walk into pretty much any high street now, and there's some garments from the Jamaica national team
True.
sports shop, which never used to happen. Um, but yeah, so Michael, so do you think if Jamaica implemented a grassroots program promoting youth scrimmage competition island wide would help Jamaica football? Yeah, yeah, because listen, Brazilians, what are they renowned for? Beach football. And you see their freedom and skill on the pitch as a result. If scrimmage is our thing, which it is, 20 man aside with goals you can't even stand in front of, why not? Why not push that? Why not promote that? Let's not try and rewrite, what is culturally what we do. Because the other bits, playing in a bigger goal, that can be when you're in those games, well, you're hitting a bigger goal, makes life easier. Over here, what they always say is make your practice real to the game. And I take issue with that because there's aspects of the game that aren't real to anything. So you
Yes.
can do touch and control in a tight space because sometimes you're playing in a tight space and it's just you and another man and you've got 4 players against you. What do you do? So the only way to replicate that is to put players in a control space and put 2 against 4 and say, right, work it out. How do you retain the ball? 2 against 4 man. How do you do that? Yeah. So that is real to the game because there are times and pockets in the game where that happens. So again, any practice is good practice. Every time you're touching the ball, you're practicing football. So that means you could be there on your own doing kick-ups, or you could be with 10, 20 man having a big match. Why not roll that out? Why not make that the standard to say, look, if you can find a scrap of grass, you can put 2 small goals in the ground and all a 50 man a play aside. It don't matter. What I would say is when you play small-sided games, it gives more contact on the ball, more opportunities to touch the ball. That's why in the UK at the moment, there's an explosion of small-sided football for adults, and there's a decline in 11-a-side, unfortunately, for adult males.
Yes.
So, yeah,
So,
nothing wrong there.
Paul, we're going back to that whole cost, and I'm saying approximately $3 billion,
Yeah,
quote unquote, first ask
yeah,
for a coach of this stature. But you may mention that it might not just be the salary that he may take a job like this,
yeah,
but for what it can propel his career. Yes?
correct. Yeah,
You
100%.
believe, you think that he may just settle for where he's at now, just for the opportunity. Because I'm sure right now he will have to put a little breaks to accept Jamaica team. I think he find himself now between a rock and a hard stone. For
Yeah,
the fact that the English job or the England job is now available. And I think that's where his headspace is for a number of years now.
listen.
Nowhere.
And listen, I know some people on YouTube have theories about multiverses and things like that, but let me tell you this. Unless I'm literally living in a parallel dimension, I can't see Stephen McClaren back at England. I can't see it. Not as England manager. Can't see it. I can't see it. Personally. I can't see it. So, as I say, for me, sometimes, like in your career, working career, sometimes you have to move sideways, across, or even down to then move up again. And to me, he'd be looking at Jamaica would be a challenge. It would get him notoriety again. He likes the international the kind of international thing because he's been to FC Twente in Holland. He's been to Wolfsburg in Germany. So he doesn't mind being out of his comfort zone in the UK, if you like. So I would say it's a step to getting back to international management. And Jamaica might not be the end destination. But listen, if we can benefit from him coming in and bringing structures and processes that don't exist now into the JFF, then who benefits? JFF benefits, So again, sometimes you have to think at what cost. Okay, what we're saying? What did you say? $1 billion Jamaican dollars?
For him, 3 billion.
3 billion. Okay, but let's say Jamaica then get to the group stages of the World Cup.
Mhm.
How many shirts are going to be sold? How many kids are going to increase in terms of numbers playing football? So
Hmm.
again, when we talk about you've got to build your base, the more participation you get, the more opportunities you've got of finding your next Leon Bailey and Whisper and so on and so forth. Yeah, and then you're not reliant on players from the UK who might be related through ancestry. So you've got more chances of being a local Jamaican player and playing for your national team because what you've got there is better coaching, a wider range of players. You know, the best player that Jamaica have to offer might not be in a team right now because they've not been picked up. And that happens through generations in this country and others.
That's true.
So that's where you have to have the local hubs because if you're not picking up and training and just observing the little kids developing and thinking, right, okay, we've got under 10s, 11s, 12s, 13s, 14s, 16s, under 17s, 18s, 19s, 20s, under 21s, and then under 23s. You have to have all those age groups and all those structures. Over here, you've got clubs like Man City, Arsenal, Man United signing players at 6 and 7 years old. That's when they're starting signing these kids to academy contracts. 6 and 7 years old. So you can't start early enough. You cannot.
But Paul, talking about all this with, these billions of dollars and so on. And I said that, because before I came on here, I was wondering, I said, could this man even consider Jamaica now, knowing that England job is open? And I asked it already. But look at it this way.
Night, Devon.
At his age, yes, I think it would be good now to start with a reggae boys or restart. You know, put himself if the contractual arrangement will go in anywhere around any 4 or 5 years. Because put it this way, the next 2 years we're looking towards World Cup. And
Mm-hmm.
then in the next 6 years, another World Cup settings.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was to JFF, I would say, listen, the first we're gonna look at a 2 year contract and then renewable.
Yeah.
Yes. A 2 year contract could have, end at the end of the World Cup, so to speak. And then we have negotiate to
Uh-huh.
see if there is any value added and to see where we can go.
Yeah.
And of course, he will within himself look at to say, will I stay or is there another better, bigger job out there? The fact of the matter, having a coach like Stevie, as you mentioned, listening to you and looking at some other information, it would be very, very good for the reggae boys. But I
Mm.
have my concerns. I'm not sure that the English coaches are doing a good job these days. What say you?
Ooh, Kevin and drop bombs. Really? Okay.
Hold on. Let me just share a little before I miss them up. So,
Yeah,
like I
man.
said, the vision for the needs at TD, and since Dunswell has been been there has been nothing innovative. Honestly, I would have said that Dunswell should be go more into the youth development aspect of Jamaican football. I think that's his strength, and I believe that would have served the country better. His technical director, because listen, it's just since the man moving out to the under 20, I realized that Dunswell was the technical director. I don't understand. So is it that each time a team travels, you name a technical director? I don't know. But I believe that, trust me, Wendell is a very, very good youth development coach, and I think that's where you are to. That's my point. Isaac, so Paul, you stay treat football, then academy. But the popular suggestion is Jamaica is to get players in academy, local or overseas. What say you?
Ooh. Again, you got to have your base. Okay. You got to have your base. So if in about what time are we now? 20 past 4. So in about 4 5 hours time over here, even though it's summer season or what might be called pre-season, a lot of the young kids play summer leagues. So realistically, the young kids over here, they don't stop playing football. They play football for the summer. They play football for the normal season, like August to about March, April, May time. And all I can say is every time you touch a ball, you're improving your game. Every time you touch a ball. So whether that's in an academy, in a local hub, scrimmage with your friends, you're playing football. And that's making you a better player every single
Yes.
time. You think of a carpenter. Every time he makes or does something with a piece of wood, it makes him better at carving that piece of wood. Football is the same. Football is the same. You want to be good at football, kick a ball every single day of your life. That'll make you a better
True.
footballer. You know? So where you get that practice from is irrelevant really, because I can promise you that most times, 90% of the times, the talent will come to the surface, will come to a level eventually. Again, look at Antonio, started at the non-league side of football in the UK, now plays international football, also plays for West Ham in the Premier League. Ollie Watkins came up the hard way, again, through the leagues. Difficult to do, but now leading light for England and probably going to take over the striking role once Harry Kane finally retires, which has got to come soon. And so, yeah, it's about just getting opportunities to play. That's the important thing. It's not about where, because I can take you to some academies in this country where, yeah, kids are within an academy, they're on a contract, and they're not even doing drills. All their coach will get them doing is playing 90 minutes of football and send them home. Not teaching them anything. Not teaching them.
Yes.
So you get good and bad in all levels. Another point that was made was about 300B licensed coaches at present. And that links back to what I was saying about the licensed coaches club in the UK that the FA brought in about 10, 15 years ago now. And that was to just get a base. Go on.
Hold on, Paul. You
Yeah.
know, Jamaica has less than 300 B licensed coaches at present. Far less than 300, I believe.
Yeah.
A matter of fact,
And so,
let me check out. Continue. Let me ask a question if you will respond. Go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead.
so on that. Oh, you want Michael to come in?
No, man. You were talking about the B licensed coaches at present. So you
Yeah.
were saying something
So,
about.
yeah, so like in the UK, what they did, they brought in the FA Licensed Coaches Club many years ago, so at least 10 years ago, maybe even more now. And what that said was, rather than just enthusiastic parents running a football team, there had to be a base level to be a coach in the UK. And that was you had to have your level 1 at least. First aid and your child welfare certificate done. Okay? So that standardised the entry point for all coaches running a small football team of kids, boys, girls, disability football, whatever. You had to have those basic things in place first. So that brought the level up of the grassroots because everybody had to attain that level. So at the very least, it meant that people knew how to lay out a set of cones, make sure they've
Yes.
got first aid with them, be aware of people's health concerns and things like that. Small details that meant you standardised the level. But the FA had taken that from the continent, from the European continent, of what the Dutch were doing, what the Spanish were doing, and had done for years in terms of, one, making facilities available 20 well, all through the year. So you've now seen an influx of 3 and 4G pitches in the UK being built to mean that throughout the winter time, matches can be played. There's a statistic going around at the moment of how many hours of football was lost over the last season for
Yes.
grassroots because of the flooding. And it's horrendous. You know, a lot of leagues didn't finish until like May this year because they had so many games to catch up with. So that needs addressing so that the opportunity to play is not affected by weather. So it's all things, it's the coaching, it's the structures, but you have to put football in places where the kids are. There's no good having, like from my little geography of Jamaica, having a hub in the Grill or Brownstown for the kids in St John's or John's Hall. Sorry, it's too far. You
That's
have to
so.
have hubs in the areas where the people are, and that means the coaches do the work of travel, not the kids. That's what you have to do. Because if somebody hasn't got the financial access to play football because they can't afford to travel or they haven't got a parent that can take them there, you have to bring the game to them. That's what you have to do. That's the only way it's going to work. Thank you, Devon. I agree too. I mean, I said it, so yeah, I would agree with myself.
Devon, big up yourself. Long time I don't see you on the show, I know you're busy and all of that. So big up yourself, Devon Porter. Yeah, man. So are you saying that the bonfire and the schoolboy football, the term bonfire was?
No, tell me now.
So they we disagreed on the schoolboy football as a mean of development. So we are
Okay.
saying, we hit out on that one. So
But that's about the quality of the PE teachers. So again, this is where it's almost like Jamaican football needs a consultation with itself to look at what is where are you? Where are you? Because if you've got a star like Leon Bailey not playing for you, there's an issue. And that needs addressing. That needs unpicking right down to the last twig, grassroots. The roots of the problem need pulling out. Because you can't have your Messi not playing for you. He could be the difference for Jamaica. With 10 other runners, he could be the difference. Look at what he's done for Aston Villa the last 2 seasons.
But Paul, I want to put a little stop on that, because I think this Leon Bailey issue has a twofold to it. Yes, I believe the issues that the JFF would have acquired are actually brought on itself and to Jamaica as it relates to the Leon Bailey saga ought to be solved. And those
Yeah.
who cannot make it right should go. Period. But also on the Leon Bailey side, they have an issue as well. Both Bailey and his agent has an issue that needs to be sorted out. Yes.
Yeah.
So you make mention of all the grassroots. So I want it to be twist. I don't want it to look at it as the JFF alone of the issues.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, listen, it takes two people to have a quarrel. You can try and argue with yourself, but it don't last long. So it takes two people to have an argument, yeah? So there's two sides to the story. I get that. But what I'm trying to summarise is you've got that talent that's not playing or doesn't want to play or is going to the press saying this and that. That's not good. There's a reason behind that. And whether that reason is from him or from the JFF, the two need to come together because you're not in a luxurious position where you can just say, you know what, we don't need him. That's not true. You need him. Yeah? You need all the quality players you can get, as well with some good young players coming through from Jamaica itself, that then might make it to the Championship and the Premier League or to other European leagues. You look at Bellingham. Okay, he was at Birmingham, and he realised, it ain't really going to work for me in the UK. So he went to Germany. Now the man's at Real Madrid. And I'll leave it there. So sometimes the path you take isn't the conventional path, but you have to start with your foundations. You wouldn't build a house without leveling out the ground, would you?
No,
you wouldn't do that.
Not. All right, so bless up yourself, man. Big up, good night. So stop it. Your schoolboy football is extracurricular activities in schools, clubs, and academies' job to build players. You see, listen, I have so much reasoning about schoolboy football and what it has done for Jamaica. I must say that it's a lot of ways to look at it. Yes, and of course it is extracurricular activities, and so when you look at that, it's hard to depend on the schools to do that. It takes a lot of money and a lot of time. There's a curriculum, an academic curriculum that must be followed, gentlemen, and we have to look at it. Schoolboy football can only play for a few months, as there are other sports at the school of failure. So out of it, schoolboy football, after all, has no way of developing players. What it does is to showcase who we have as talent. All right? That's my point. Bala, yeah man, bless up yourself. Sorry, the only time JFF mention youth is when there's an election. The youth, then they want to vote for them.
See there? See?
You're right. Bala, trust me, I'm not joking. Everybody talk about the youth program them. See the election come and go, and we're not hearing nothing. All we see is a little pick up side Ghana, Mexico, and pick up 9. We're not hearing nothing. Trust me. So you're right. Me talk truth. Me not go around corner. You're right, Pessoa, man. Can't be schoolboy football for development. Bailey attitude is wrong. No Messi.
Well, listen. Bad. You know what I mean? I get man chat, so that's good. You know what I mean? I want to hear the opinions.
Yeah,
can't just be mine.
And that's what, Paul. There are things that you would not hear about because of who you are. Yes, some of us are, deep down and get some. Yes, man. Somebody like grassroots issues. More so, yes. 3 months of football leave us behind our international competitors, and that's schoolboy football. 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Shower curtain boss, bless up yourself. Jamaican coaches think they are ready, but they aren't too.
Oh Lord.
Boy.
Archaic, you know.
Why? Oh my
Archaic, you know.
God, I can't
Woo-wee.
believe that. Yes, archaic in their
Boom.
coaching and mindset and
Wow.
can't manage big talent. The ego, I believe that's one of the things that would have hit us. But I'm not gonna put it that harshly, Shower curtain, to be honest with you. Understand where you are going, and they must start somewhere. One of the things is that if you mention the ego, that's the part I'm tough and will hit them for six all the times. These coaches are not together. Everybody want to be the big man, and that's not how it works. If you have to show what you do, not because you win a competition or you have a name, that means you are the best. But it all depends on the talent that you have and what you have done. So it's a lot of way to look at it. But big up yourself at that. Ricardo Fulham. Oh my God, that's another coach. Ricardo Gardner, Jermaine Johnson, Claude Davis, all out of schoolboy football. Yes, boss. But is it
Okay.
that
There
it's
you go.
out? So what it does is to showcase them.
Listen,
It's just to
again,
showcase them. If it
I've
is
grown
for
up.
development, hold on
Kevin,
a part.
Kevin,
Hold on. Yes, right.
go on. Go on now. Go
If
on.
it is for development, you would have more of them. How many of these people leave schoolboy football and walk into the national team? So that means we are not developing them for that. They will
It,
showcase the main talents that we have. That's schoolboy football. Go ahead, Pat.
it means there's a gap. It means there's a gap. So
Just there is.
obviously what's happening, there's a disconnect between those that are playing good football for their school or maybe for a district team, and then the gap between that and the international team. Okay, and this is where I mean, this is what I'm talking about, a restructuring of the structure. Because at the moment, with the greatest, I don't know nobody, so I've got no vested interest. So I will just talk for me.
Yes.
But what man said before, just there, let me just scroll that up. Because, man look at it like him drop bomb, but I think he got it. He got it in a nutshell. Where is it there? I'm just going back for the chat.
Which one?
Shower curtain. Shower curtain.
Oh,
Yeah.
this one?
Yes. That's the comment. That's the comment. Because Jamaican coaches think they're ready, but they aren't. Too archaic. So for them, not got a thesaurus. Old school in their coaching and mindset, and can't manage big talents. 100%. 100%. You've got a man like Graham Souness, who's like an ex-Liverpool legend.
Yes.
And he says that he will never coach in football again because he says the attitude of players now, because remember, elite players that played international football, they're millionaires. He said, can't talk to them. Can't talk to them, can't motivate
Yes.
them. Because he comes from a generation where your coach would just scream and bawl at you. And whether you were soft-headed or hard-headed, didn't matter. He's screaming at you, he's bawling at you to do something or not do something.
Yes.
Football, as we spoke about before, it's about managing personalities and the difference of personalities and how they are motivated themselves and what pushes them or doesn't. And if you've got a player who's got talent but isn't self-motivated, it's the worst in the world because you're like, how do I encourage you? How do I inspire you when you can't can't be bothered to inspire yourself? But if I give you 60 minutes, you'll do something amazing, you know? So, yeah, maybe true. Baller for life, has been a prima donna, maybe so. But you got to remember, he's now used to a lifestyle in the UK, where that just doesn't even reflect his upbringing. So his head's now, listen, I'm the man. And listen, if he's got money in the bank that says he's the man in his own head. And the coach has to knuckle down to that because there might be an occasion where some of these players are earning more than the coach.
Most
So
of
then
them.
they'd be like, you know what I mean? So they're then thinking, oh, look, how can you tell me? Or they're thinking, hang on, you've only coached district football, or you're not come over to Europe and coach nobody. So what's your coaching CV? You're trying to tell me things? Let's remember a man like Roy Keane blew up on
Madman.
international duty because
Like,
he
madman.
felt, yeah, but listen, the principle's there. He was
Which is
playing for
right. That is
Manchester
true.
United. He was playing for Manchester United, so he was at the highest level of the domestic game in his club, and he's gone to international football, which should be a step up. And he's saying, man didn't even have cones to put down to set up a drill. Didn't have this and that. And he's like, what is this? And listen, Roy Keane's a winner. Let's remember, Roy Keane went to, I think it was Sunderland, and they gave him, I think it was a 2 or 3 year management contract to say, get them into the Premier League. And Roy Keane said, why am I going to take 3 years? He did it the very next season. So that's his level. This is what people forget. He might be controversial and call people babies when he's in commentary, but actually, as a player, and when he has coached, the standards he sets, he's gotten success. Now, sometimes you go in a club and the standard you set is too high. The players don't want to work for you because they're like, wait, I'm going to have to come out of my comfort zone. Remember, we talked about the 2-year thing?
Yeah.
I'll have to come out of my comfort zone. I'm going to have to start earning the money on my contract, i.e., I'm going to have to turn up to training every day. When we do warm down session, I'm going to have to turn up. I'm going to have to start chasing gal and partying and going up, wasting up my money on designer clothes. I'm going to have to do my job. And some players are like, nah, I ain't doing that. And I tell you the thing, a club will not get rid of a whole contracted list of players. They'll just get rid of its manager.
Easy.
Easy. You look at man like Troy Deeney at Watford. He had his first coaching role in the last season, and it ended quickly because he was asking what people say, his approach. No, he was asking for high standards from his players.
I guess
And
that
the
was
players revolted.
I guess that was one of the shortest coach contract. Well, not
Well,
contract, but
it was about as short as one of our prime ministers, Liz Truss. You know what I mean? It was about 45 days. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, you're not going politics tonight, Paul.
No. Sorry. It's all linked anyway. Kevin. You know what I mean? It's all linked.
But yes. I am with you. As I said, Bailey and his team need to get this right. Listen, I don't have a problem if we get back Bailey in the team, but listen, me and Bailey and Craig Butler must understand that. Listen, this is our country, yes, and regardless of how you feel, you have reached a situation where you're at the heights that the JFF is not there yet. That's a reality. Yeah. Jamaica is nowhere where Aston Villa is.
Yeah.
That's just the reality.
Yeah.
So is either you want to play or come back to these substandards as how you see it, or you leave it alone.
True.
If you have country, yes, it is a country, and we don't dare. Listen, we are fighting over some very small things. We make some small issues being very big. And as long as we can determine and we accept our situation, then we shouldn't have much problem. So trust me, we can get it if we want to get it right. Can you imagine if we had 9 months of schoolboy football? What would have, I don't know, what benefit you think you'd get out of that?
Well, that's a season. That's a season that reflects a season in the UK.
So the point is, there's no way under this present economic
administration.
Yeah. Not the administration. Yeah. Jamaica, under the economic system.
Yeah.
Because I am telling you, Paul, and I'm sure that many of you people out there, it's very expensive to sustain a quality football, schoolboy football team.
Mm-hmm.
For the 4 months, or the 3 months schoolboy football has played for, you have schools spending millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Millions.
I understand.
So you want to triple that. Can you manage that? So, I mean, we have to look at every aspect of this thing. We can't just look at it that we need more schoolboy football, need more time.
Kevin,
but
let me cut you. Kevin, let me cut you. So, that, when I talk about a plan, that's the investment that has to be made, because Jamaica has the natural attributes in terms of athleticism to be excellent at football, irrespective of the size of the nation. Okay, the investment that is the issue, because like I found when I was over just a few weeks ago, the hyperinflation, trying to find a word higher than hyper, but the hyperinflation of the Jamaica dollar makes again, how you guys and girls cope over there, I don't know sometimes, because when I run the numbers and I was like, okay, so I'm going to transfer UK and get this. I'm going to transfer UK to American dollars and I'll get this. But then it's worth only this. So I understand. But listen, I can take a football and kick it against the wall. I'm playing football. That costs nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So what I'm saying is there's bits and pieces that can be done that cost very little, but can improve the standards without any monetary investment. Monetary investment is still needed. Absolutely. because when you get players to a certain level, they need boots, they need bibs, they need balls. You need coaches, you need people to travel. They need resources. I mean, over where you guys are, it's hot all the time. So you've got to hydrate constantly. So you need
Yes.
water available. All them things. It costs. Give you an
Costs a
example.
whole lot, man.
Give you an
Trust me.
example. A grassroots team over here that I'm involved with now, it will cost us about 2,000 UK dollars. Sorry, UK pounds to set that team up for a season. 2,000. That's kits. That's registration with the league, insurance, pitch fee, referee fees, etc. That's an
Hold on.
amateur team.
How
Yeah.
much
That's
Jamaican dollars that? Hold on. I have to quantify it, because
yeah,
it
yeah,
will
yeah.
show you
Yeah,
how
make
tough
it
it
relative
is.
to to the
Yes, I'll show
audience.
you
Yeah,
how
yeah.
tough. So I said £2,000, right?
Two
For the se-
thousand pound for a season for
three,
amateur football.
3,000,
2,000, two
two.
thousand,
Okay, all right.
two.
So £2,000, gentlemen. Yes, times 200. It's not right. Hold on, £2,000.
£2,000 UK. Yeah,
Yes, for the
UK
season.
pound
For the
for a
season.
season. Yeah,
So that's
that's what
400,000 Jamaican dollars.
400. There you go. Yeah.
That's very, very small. Listen, if, and I'm saying this for any one of these, and if you're taking on a U14 or U16 in school, just
Uh-huh.
U14 and U16, you spend $500,000
Yeah.
for basically 1 month of football
Yeah.
competition.
Mm. So
So
again,
we're spending far much more than you are
for a
for
season.
1 month and
Okay,
you for the season.
but that's also because there's certain structures in place now in the UK that mean, again, when you've got the structure in place, certain costs are eliminated from the team itself.
Yes.
But there's still a cost to the team to run. But what I'm saying is, it would, if we were to run for 3 months, it would cost about the same, because the cost of new kits, registration, those things don't go. Yeah. So
Right.
whether you run for 3 months or you run for 9 months, some of those costs, it's the upfront, the setup cost is the issue, not so much the ongoing cost, because we charge our players a fee per month to play for the team. They don't get paid. Our
Mhm.
players don't get paid at the level we're at. They pay us to play, to meet those costs over the course of a season. So we break it down. They pay £23 a month to the club to cover, when in season, that'll cover referee fees, match fees, etc. Pre-season, we've had to charge the players £7 UK per game to cover the cost of the referee, the pitch hire, etc. Yeah, that doesn't include replacing balls or bibs or things that get damaged or lost or stolen or missing. So listen, football is not cheap, but at the same time, the opportunities you have. What I've always suggested to players is go and get a sponsor. Yeah, go and find a local business that will say, okay, I'll put my business name on your T-shirt, and in return for that, I'll pay you £5, £6, £7 a week subs. So you're not paying, you're not getting paid, but you're not out of pocket. So what you have to do is look at income streams and sponsorship models that work for the locality that you're in. As I say, we look at the smaller nations in the European tournament just gone. They had good success in terms of where they got to, based against the size of their nation. So there are ways of doing that, but at the heart of that, you have to have the base levels, the quality of players. Yeah, the foundation has to be there, and then you've got to have the desire in those players to
Mhm.
play beyond their ability at times and to raise their game in every game they play. Because then what that does for the players coming behind them, they think, wow. Because let's remember, if you see something that looks like you can be it. You can aspire to it. So this generation of international Jamaican players in the women's team and the men's team, their legacy and their responsibility is to put everything on the pitch every time they cross the white line, because they're going to bring through the next generation, because they're going to look up to them and say, I want to be there. I want to change my horizon by becoming a footballer that travels internationally, or maybe plays football in Germany or South America. But that can only be done if the structures are right. So Barlow for Life himself said JFF should put things in place at parish levels. 100%.
Exactly. That's where the
100%.
development needs to start,
But
not
that's what I
schoolboy
said.
football.
That's what I
All right?
said about half an hour ago, or an hour ago, or
So let
however
me tell you
long.
this.
You know what I mean?
So Clive Smith, big up yourself. No lie, Bibi was developed my Harborview football club. That is true. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't Hulmaz who developed Bibi. Maybe to some extent, but not to the full that he was able to walk out of schoolboy football and into the national setup. He was playing big man football a long time. And say, Trevor, hey, me saw you know easy, you know, man. He come like yeah, try to pull me out, you know. At Live Summit, the man on YouTube just love chat. Bibi have played JPL for Harborview from 16. So, but that's sorry, Chris. So yeah, tell me, say, so I just chat me a chat. But I have never said that schoolboy football developed the players, bro. If you notice what I said, you know, I said schoolboy football expose a lot of the talents, not develop. Because within that scope of time, you're training, say, 3 months prior to competition and 3 months of competition. That's not development. In the schools, the youngsters have so much to do as it relates to their academics and different aspects. They have different sports
Mm.
activities that they have to take part in. It's a wholesome, it's a holistic approach in schools. So we can't expect schoolboys or school to develop the youngsters. That's
Mm.
not it at all. That's what I'm saying. All right, Trevor? All right. So, Peso, what you're saying again, Bala feel like the parish FA job to put in place competition of U12 and U20. They used to do that. Where has it gone? We don't know. So, everything now has changed to the worse as it relates to the whole development of some of these youth teams. Yeah? RR, at Travis, lots more. Youth was hotter than Bibi. He got an opportunity and capitalized. Well, as we say in
Mhm.
Abridged, man, I will say this over and over again. Youth who used to come out of schoolboy football and was able to walk into a national setup. All of the names that were mentioned before and continue to talk about. Listen, they were not done at the same time. You know? So I'm saying that the number that happened on a yearly basis or on a period, it's minimal
Mm.
as it relates to the how many youths are play and play good. So
Mm.
that goes to show that schoolboy football is not the answer for development. All right. So you're saying, Travis, but if you need to put down the rules, laws, and regulations to get the parishes to do that, you can't get the parishes if the big JFF not put these things in place, and it has must have been a policy. It used to be when me a little youth, every Saturday morning, me gonna make a John Green training. And I don't think the JFF was responsible for that then. Why couldn't
Mm.
we accept those policy, yes, those model
Mm.
to move forward?
Mm.
Clarendon has the best youth program for years. And if you check it out, some people go and equate it now to the level of championship that Clarendon teams have gotten over the past few years, but it's a reality. Yeah,
Mm.
main feeding tree. Yes, RR schoolboy football. But remember, a lot of these boys who come into schoolboy football, they were at primary school before doing well at their age group, and then they move up. Nobody sees them at primary school. Look about that, talk about that. But the substandards of the TBJFF was there clearly joined. Well, as we say now, so you knew what he was getting into. Of course,
Kevin,
no
can I
doubt.
just add something in there on that
Go
one?
ahead.
Because
Yes.
let's look at that as a point in the fact that the feeling that I'm getting from the commentary from everybody, and it's lovely to see everybody contributing today.
Mhm.
So what we're saying is a player like Bailey, player like Whisper, and some of the other younger
Go on,
players,
continue. Give me 1 second. Continue on your part.
yeah, they have come through what we might acknowledge to be a disjointed system or a system that is not as efficient as it could be. And that still managed to produce those talents. And my point is, or my challenge is, if the structures are correct and the support is there for coaches to be developed, because as you can see, you might see it on the chat. Shower Curtain says, "I'm not a fan of English coaches. I won't take that personal. Don't think they focus on total football, but rather depend on good talents to bring them victory. Check the records of the English coaches and styles." And I have to agree with that because if you look at England in the Euros, we'll go with the most recent England in the Euros. England relied on players with a talent to get them out of sticky situations. You wouldn't say that England played any team off the park. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. So again, that's not showing the actual coaching ability of the coaches. What it's showing is that if I've got a good set of players, they'll work it out. They'll find a way. So shower curtain, I agree with that. But as I said, baller for life, 100%. If everything's substandard right now, but you produce talent through that substandard system, imagine if things were good, what you could produce. And that's the whole point I'm making. If the structures are right, the foundation's right, and you've got satellite development in the parishes, in the small areas where kids parents can't take them 50 miles, 50 kilometers, whatever. They can't get them there. You've got to get in the parishes. You've got to get in the local areas. This is what the FA did with the England women team. They set up satellite development areas. That group that makes the England women team pretty much all came from all these satellite developments over a course of time. And it's no accident why some of the best English women footballers are now in the England women's team. And England women are doing pretty decent. They've won more trophies recently than the men. So the facts speak for themselves. So that, as I say, the grassroots, however it looks, has to be done right. But as I say, if you can get the talent that you've got coming through already and things are disjointed, imagine if the structure is smooth and there's a good pathway for players, for coaches, for assistants, for physios. Yeah. So somebody might leave school and say, okay, I'm not going to be a footballer, but I still love football. They could become a referee. They could become an administrator in football. They're still in the industry, and that all contributes because everybody's got a skill, everybody's got a talent, and football is such big business now. It's billion going into £1 trillion across the world that football generates now. It's a massive thing, driving the world now as a sport and as an economic powerhouse. All right, you've only got to look at when the EPL contracts get renewed. It's crazy money. Okay, so you have to have your structures right, but it also creates opportunities for somebody to go into all sorts of different directions related to football. So it means that you can't just focus on the players. You also got to think, okay, man's got an interest in football, might move into catering, accounts, law, because you need all those skills when you negotiate a contract.
Yeah.
And speak to a lawyer. You know what I mean? So it's a massive business. It's a massive industry. And this is where people have got to be. Being just a coach, being a manager in football, that's not enough no more. You have to get help all the time, even at a grassroots level. So you have to have your structure right. This is something that we've done with Redwood Colts first team. There's 4 of us in the management team just now. And we're talking about expanding that potentially because we've found everything we've had to set up in a short space of time. We need more help. So you then multiply that up to an international team and a country trying to get the pathway right. You need structures. And I keep sounding like a stuck record, but I can promise you, unless that changes, because here's the thing as well. If you get your grassroots coaching right, those old archaic mentalities, they'll go away. They'll go. They'll go because they won't want to change.
Paul, there's a whole lot in the chat, Paul, and gentlemen, I'm only getting hot. The one thing about this article showing, every time it reaches a particular time, that's time people join the show. I respect that. But really and truly, I can't have your whole night tonight. We have gone 2 hours and 18 minutes, people. So I take it for 2 hours and 2.5 hours. So we have 12 minutes to go within that specific period of time. But, Paul, and somebody has mentioned that, I think I missed it. But the question that I asked, and the position that I placed you in, I dropped a bomb and I said that the English coaches were not doing well. I don't remember if you covered that. I wanted to talk about the English
coaches are what, yes. Sorry?
The English coaches in recent time have not doing well in terms of, winning or even, preparing a team that will show. When you look at what's going on, and, we just completed the Euro. Also, and you may mention a forward, we don't really turn over teams. We luckily win some matches as English fans, but we're not doing all of that. But before you go, man, big up Kasafa. Kasafa has been doing well as well. And as I'm saying that to say, when I mentioned Clarendon, the Clarendon thing that I talk about was not so much from the FA people or the JFF. It was from John Green perspective. But Kasafa really, as a body, yeah, man. as a football, subsection of JFF has been doing well and doing well ever since. So big up yourself on that ball and Cassava. So why part?
So, give me the question in short, Kevin, because
All right.
that was a
So why are you
paragraph,
saying that?
bro.
Looking at Steve now coming in, and
Yeah.
I still categorize Oli as an English coach because that's where I see him.
Oh, Solskjaer. What?
Yes,
Him on the short list too?
yes, man. A
Oh
matter of fact,
Lord.
it is
Oh
signaled that
man.
Oli and Steve is right there. No, a matter of fact, I am saying Steve. More people is saying Oli.
Okay.
I think I'm the
Wow.
first one on YouTube or on social
We,
media who doing this podcast to talk about Steve.
and we've
So
got another
yes.
2 hours to talk about Ollie.
So I'm just saying it is being said, and my estimation too.
Yeah.
I'm not encouraged by the English coaches. What say you?
Okay. So, and this is not just because I reside in England, but um, if I'm going to call a spade, what I would say is on on an average, I would say that English coaches will probably offer a better standard of coaching than what I'm seeing coming through locally, and I mean as in Jamaican locals at the moment. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong,
Mhm.
and that might be controversial. So, man, please don't hate me. Don't come for me next time I come to the country. But what I see is what needs to happen is also almost like a coaching mentorship. So if you get a English coach with good stature, the Ollies or the Steve McClarens or whoever come in, right? They then need to be in a situation of openness where they bring in the coaches locally, the schoolboy federation coaches, the parish coaches, and they bring them into conferences and say, look, okay, this is how we do it. This is what we
Yes,
do. And cascade their knowledge, but they need to be available. And that's not going to be every day, okay? But like as a coach with experience, I'm still part of development groups where coaches from the FA have a WhatsApp group, like the conference I attended just the other day, and I'm still interfacing and meeting with other coaches and sharing pieces all the time. So something like that needs to happen because what you want to do is eventually have a Jamaican-born coach, maybe coach Jamaica, and take them to success. But that's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. So the way you do that is you've got to implement a structure that gives the grassroots coach an opportunity to develop, and that's through coaching experts. Again, the difficulty you've got, you're telling me you're playing schoolboy football for 3-4 months.
yes, 3 months.
So as a coach, you've got 3 months of work per every year, whereas in the UK,
That's a competition. So you'll have a prior 3 months preparation.
6 months.
So
But you're at but every 12 months you're at a disadvantage because compared to a UK based coach, you're coaching 50% less of the time. So
so
that
that's
means it's
where I'm
going to take
going.
you.
So
Yeah,
that means schoolboy football can't be the answer.
schoolboy football's part of the answer, but
It's
you have to
part,
have
but
something
can't be
to.
the full answer.
It's not the full answer. It's part. But this is where you have to have a consultation and look at the landscape and say, okay, what does Jamaican football look like right now? And already we've identified that disconnect where you've got a 3 month prep for a 3 month competition, but that's only 6 months. What's happening in the other 6 months of the year?
Education.
Because educate, okay, but then in that 6 months, if players aren't playing football on a regular basis, their development is going down, not up. It's not going to stay the same
But
because at the same time, other players will be going like that. They'll be going up because they're playing regular.
in fairness, one of the things is that some schoolboys, and then again, it's minimum too, minimum.
Yeah,
After the competition, they would have had some clubs that they play for.
yeah,
I see where people have mentioned the minor leagues and the major leagues in Kasafa.
hmm,
But the minor leagues and the major, I think it's more so the minor leagues would have run, you know, concurrently with some of the schoolboy football competitions are in the summer.
yeah,
Yes, when training going on. So they are playing, but it is within that same time speed. So what happened now? Prior to preparation and after football games, there's no schoolboy football. it has to transition to clubs. And how many
Okay.
of these school and they're still not at clubs playing, I mean, competitive, real competitive football. Some of them is just some joke thing,
Yeah.
the competition. And so what I say right now, as a former coach, somebody will love the schoolwide football competition, who cover
Mm.
schoolboy. If we are planning to extend the schoolboy football, whether in with time or with resources, we also need to extend our senior football. Meaning, after schoolboy football, we must have competitive football, serious
Yeah.
competitive football for these
100%.
boys to be engaged.
Yeah. 100%.
Yes. So,
And as I said, that's the point, Kevin. It, you know, there needs to be a consultation between grassroots and the highest level of football in Jamaica
two word.
and everything in between that to understand what the landscape is. Because until you understand what's there, you can't make a smooth transition through those different levels. Yeah,
True.
and that's one of the things. Like as I say, you can go from grassroots in this country right up to the top of football because there's a pathway that shows you the next. Like, so if you're a player playing for our team on a Sunday,
Mhm.
you know that the next step for you is afternoon football on a Saturday because that then takes you to what we call step 6, which is 6 leagues below the National League. And then you've got National League, League Two, League One, Championship, Premier League. So it shows you where you are, depending on how far you get. But as a player, you can look at that and think, right, I need to be this much fitter, this much faster, this much lighter to compete at that standard. So you know where you're going. If you've got things that look like this, you know, and then some of it's played for that length of time, some of it's played for this length of time, that's all disjointed. It needs to be smoother. There needs to be harmony in that link because otherwise you're going to lose amazing talent. But
Yes,
because it's not
yes.
stepped to the next level, it's never been realised. That talent's never been realised. And that's where it is. Because 3 million is enough. As I said, some of these teams in Euros didn't even have 3 million people in their country. But they're playing international football to a good level.
Wow.
So there's no reason Jamaica can't do that. No reason at all. We have the sun, all that vitamin D, natural athletes. Teaching someone to kick a ball, that's the easy part. Making somebody run and recover for 90 minutes, that's the hard part. That's the hard part. But teaching somebody to kick a ball, that's the easy bit, in my opinion, anyway, in my experience. So get the structures right, get the grassroots right. You start there. You start at the bottom. You have to. Because if you don't, then as you go through and as players try to transition from schoolboy to district football to the JPL, you're going to lose players. Because depending on where they are regionally within the country will determine whether or not they get picked up and transition, say, from under 12s to under 14s to under 16s to senior football.
Yes. So, Paul, as I say, people, really and truly, we just gonna close. We just have to, you know, conclude the show. But I want to say now, before we actually go, our final thoughts. And of course, I want you, Paul, just to, I mean, give us another summary, yes? A closing summary of my pick, of the information that I got, who will be the next Reggae Boys coach. And with that, for those who joining, I'm just gonna once again share the person who I've got the information could
You putting
be.
the picture up? You putting the picture
Yeah,
up again?
why
Go on
not?
now. See him there. So Steve McClaren, ex-England manager, league winning manager with FC Twente in Holland. Not such a successful period in Wolfsburg, but this guy within the football fraternity in the UK is well regarded as a coach, and a good coach. Last season with Manchester United, and as Kevin alluded to through the show, on a very lucrative deal there. So yeah, he might bankrupt the country to come to the JFF. To Lord God, but I listen, like we've discussed, and I tell you to everybody in the chat, amen to you because some of the opinions and the thoughts coming through, that's what stimulated the conversation. So
Trust me,
thank you for your contribution.
appreciate that a lot.
Absolute, yeah, man, yeah. Brought up things I wouldn't even have thought of myself. So to all of you in there, Travis, RR, Clive, Conrad, all of you there, and all the ones who come before have gone as well. I think it would be a good appointment. It's going to be expensive, but the cost will be of a benefit to Jamaican football in the long run. If while he's in post, a review of where Jamaican football is, he's done also. So it's not just about him coming in for the elite. He's
Yes.
got to look at the whole thing. And that, to me, should be his responsibility and the legacy he wants to leave, which is I've left Jamaican football across the country of Jamaica in better shape than when I came here if he's on a 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year deal. So to me, could be good for the country.
Yeah, man. And with that, people, I want to say, trust me, I'm looking forward for that announcement. And you see, when I say announcement, not necessarily for Steve, but for whoever the coach is, yes. But
Mm.
I want to say that people in the chat, it was such a wonderful night. I don't even believe I couldn't recognize that the time has gone so much, Paul. That even you, that you remember that you have gym to go and all of that. I know you don't have work tomorrow.
No, I'm not working. Well, to be fair, what I do at the weekend is work, but it's not work. It's work of my own choosing. So that's when I do all my coaching, my
Okay.
one-to-ones and stuff like that. So I'll give a little shout out to my little nephew who's got a little tournament today, and we did coaching with him yesterday. And he's like, Uncle Paul, I've got a tournament on Sunday. Will you come and watch all my games? I'm like, you can't say no to a 6-year-old, can you?
Yeah, you
You
have
know.
to give them the support, yes?
That's it. So when he said to me, Uncle Paul, train me and then come and watch me play. So he used to come and watch me play when I play veterans football. So I'm returning the favour back to him.
Yeah, man,
So,
very good.
it goes full circle. So, yeah, man, it's daylight here now. When I started on this, it was dark. It's daylight now, Kevin. So, like you say, my gym is open. It's open 24 hours. So, yeah, I need to jump in the gym and start my Sunday. But again, blessings to all of you in Jamaica. Thank you for listening to me witter on. Kevin, thank you for having me again. It's been a pleasure.
It's a pleasure, man. And thanks again, everyone. Boy, too many names to call. So I'll have to just say big up all the one in the chat and all of you. Maximum respect for your suggestion. Your opinion tonight was so much valid. I can tell you I've learned so much from you and continue to support the Sardicrest channel. Thank you for those who joined in for the first time, and I'm happy for your support. This is where we leave it tonight, and more so, big up yourself. Thanks, everyone, and see you next week with some big news. I can tell you, anything else come out, I will be the first one to drop it, people. So again, thank you very much. Bless up.